In the cold, dark depths of the Baltic Sea, a story is resurfacing that could shake Europe's unity to its very core. The mystery of the Nordstream pipeline sabotage, which was once dismissed as unsolved, is now coming back to haunt Kyiv, Berlin, and NATO itself. According to an explosive Wall Street Journal report, German investigators have spent 3 long years piecing together a shocking narrative. One that could undermine Germany's support for Ukraine and redraw the lines of Western loyalty. This is Nord Stream, the investigation that could break Europe. September 26, 2022, a series of underwater explosions ripped through the Nord Stream 1 and 2 gas pipelines near Denmark's Bornholm Island. 3 of the 4 lines of the pipeline are destroyed, spewing nearly 800 cubic meters of methane into the sea. An environmental disaster and a geopolitical earthquake. The pipelines were the lifelines carrying Russian natural gas directly to Germany, and their destruction instantly locked Europe into years of high energy prices. Heating bills soared, industries shut down, inflation climbed. But who was responsible behind this? For months, fingers pointed in every direction. Russia, the US, rogue actors. Everyone had a theory. No one had proof. Fast forward to 2025, the Wall Street Journal now reports, Germany's federal police and prosecutors have built a criminal case that leads not east towards Moscow but southeast towards Kyiv. German detectives working quietly in Potsdam have reconstructed what they call a clear picture of how the sabotage unfolded. 7 operatives, 3 special force soldiers, 4 expert divers, a rented yacht called the Andromeda, and explosives, HMX, also known as octogen, strong enough to blast through reinforced steel. According to investigators, the team set sail from the German port of Rostock. They used burner phones, forged passports, and covered identities. DNA and fingerprints from the yacht matched Ukrainian nationals, some tied to the country's intelligence and military structures. One diver, Volodymyr, was traced through a traffic camera in Poland. Another, Seri, was arrested in Italy in 2025. A third suspect reportedly died in combat in eastern Ukraine. The operation, German sources say, was carried out under the direct supervision of then Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny. Valery Zaluzhny, the Iron General of Ukraine, a national hero, the man who stopped Russia's early advance on Kyiv. Today, he is Ukraine's ambassador to London and a rumored future presidential contender. But investigators believe that a secret order may have set off the blasts that destroyed the Nord Stream. Now, why would Ukraine do this? According to the WSJ report, the motive was strategic, not symbolic. By blowing up the pipelines, Ukraine could choke off Russia's €10 billion a year gas revenue to Europe and ensure that Germany could never again rely on Russian energy. It was economic warfare. But here's the twist. Intelligence insiders claim that President Zelensky himself had rejected the plan after CIA warnings. Yet, Zaluzhny allegedly went ahead anyway. Kyiv has denied everything. Officials call it Russian disinformation. Zaluzhny says it's a provocation. But for Berlin, Ukraine's biggest European supporter, the evidence may be too strong to ignore. Germany has poured over €28 billion in military and financial aid into Ukraine since 2022. Leopard tanks, Iris-T missiles, humanitarian aid. But the Nord Stream case is now turning public opinion. Energy bills remain high, 15% higher than pre-war levels. Germans are asking, why are we paying for a war that they may have escalated? Polls show growing acceptance that Ukrainians were behind the sabotage, and politicians from the right-wing AfD to even centrist voices are beginning to question continued aid. The government fears that an open trial, where Ukrainian soldiers could be branded terrorists, might devastate relations with Kyiv. As one Berlin insider told the WSJ, any court hearing on this topic will further aggravate Ukraine's relations with its largest sponsor. And that's where the most uncomfortable question enters. Article 5, the cornerstone of NATO. It says, an attack on one is an attack on all. But what happens when the attack comes from within the alliance's own circle? Nord Stream wasn't a military target. It was civilian infrastructure. Yet NATO's 2022 summit in Madrid explicitly said that significant attacks on energy networks or undersea cables could be treated as acts of aggression. So, critics are now asking, if Russia had blown up those pipelines, NATO would have been on the red alert. But if Ukraine did it, there is silence. Online, the phrase Article 5 against Ukraine when has gone viral, mocking the alliance's double standards. Still, no Western government is willing to push that far. To accuse Ukraine officially would fracture the anti-Russia coalition and hand Moscow a propaganda victory on a silver platter. For now, expect quiet diplomacy, not public trials. Italy is delaying extraditions. Poland is shielding suspects. Germany is walking a tightrope, balancing justice with geopolitics. Zaluzhny sipping tea in London remains untouchable, a symbol of both Ukraine's defiance and its moral grey zones. The Nordstream case isn't just about who planted explosives underwater. It's about the cracks forming above the surface in Europe's unity, trust, and moral compass. If the findings go public, Berlin could be forced to choose justice or alliance, truth or solidarity. Either way, the damage, political and economic, is already done. The methane clouds from Nord Stream have long dispersed into the Baltic skies, but their legacy still lingers in gas prices, in headlines, and in the uneasy silence of Europe's leaders. The question isn't just who did it, it's whether Europe has the courage to face the answer. You've been watching TFI Global. If you found this report insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep geopolitical analysis every single day. Thanks for watching.